So I'm really enjoying shooting video outside. Kind of got out of the house, got to enjoy a walk in the park, and I thought, you know what? I'll just introduce this video right here. So in this coming video, what you're going to see here are some more examples of the Hamilton method. And then from those examples of the Hamilton method, we're going to actually see some problems that kind of emerge from the Hamilton method and how we can kind of run into these issues, but not really know that we're running into those issues almost until it's too late. And of course, this is going to lead to another solution, which is another method, which we'll learn in the next video after this video. All right, so we're going to jump in here and take on our first sort of additional example of the Hamilton method. So this one is actually very similar to an example we had last time. It was example 2 from the previous notes, from the previous video. And so all that's changed in this particular example is that we have changed to 72 total representatives. Okay, so what this kind of mirrors or mimics, I guess, is in real life, let's say that the government changes something and they say, we're going to go from 71 up to 72 representatives. We're going to add a representative to the House of Representatives. And so we're just going to change that number and we're going to go through and do our Hamilton method. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of run through this real quickly because you know, it's Hamilton method. We've looked at it and we're just going to keep doing it to see for some other pieces of like insight that may come from this. So when you do the total population, right, we add up our 4 state populations and we'll get 10,200 in this example. And then when we find our divisor, remember we're going to take our total population and we're going to divide it by now the number of representatives, which was 72, and that's going to give us 141.666. So if you can't tell already, I have notes already here. So I'm just kind of doing this to kind of illustrate the process. Not going to waste your time with me pecking away at the calculator, okay? So right, first step in the process, find the divisor. Second step, find those lower quotas. And when we do that, remember we're finding our quotas first. So we'll go through and we'll take care of those calculations real quick. Right here we have state A is 1050 divided by 141.666, which is going to give me 7.411. So this is our quota. We'll do state B, 2040 divided by 141.666, and that's going to have a quota of 14.400. State C has 3060 divided by 141.666. That's 21.600. And then finally, state D has a 4050 divided by 141.666, which is 28.588. So remember, these are our quotas. Actually, my steps are kind of mislabeled here. That's step 2/3. This guy down here will become step 4. Right? So we find our quotas, then we find our lower quotas. So 7, 14, 21, 28. Right? We're grabbing the whole number parts. We'll add those up and we'll see when those things get added up, we get 70. Now, we originally had 72 representatives that we were trying to apportion, so we're going to be short by 2 representatives, right? So we actually have 2 extra representatives, or 2 extra reps. How do we determine who gets those extra reps? We go to the decimal parts of our original quotas, and we look for the highest decimal part. So here's a 600. That means that state C is going to get an extra rep, but we don't ever give all the reps to one place. We go down the list to the next highest decimal part, which is state D. So there's our first extra And right there's our second extra. Okay, which means that, so write out state C and D each get an extra rep. So let's take a look at the results. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to when I did this problem last time. I'm just gonna pull that sheet up here. And what we see here is, right, it was, when we did this problem before, we had 71 reps. Now that changed the divisor, changed all our quotas, but we got an answer. So I'll do before our answer. So let's see, previous example with 71 reps. We had state A got 8, state B got 14, C got 21, and D got 28. Okay, so I'm just kind of sort of, oops, sorry about that, writing that down here. So this is our previous example, and we want to compare what happened in this current example with the previous one. So I'm just going to kind of leave my notes for the previous example down there. Let's finish off this one. So current example. With 72 reps, state A got 7, B got 14, C got an extra, so they're at 22, and D got an extra, so they're at 29. Okay, so what happened here is when we increased the number of reps, we went from 71 reps up to 72 reps. Look at the experience of each of these states. If you're state A, how did you feel? We added a representative from 71 to 72, but state A went from 8 reps down to 7. So in this case, state A is kind of going, well, wait a minute, you added a representative to the House of Representatives, but then you took one away from us. State B is like, oh, cool, I don't care. We stayed the same, didn't affect us. Guess the calculation just didn't affect us. State C is sitting there going, oh, cool, like you added a representative, we got a representative. State D is like, cool, we added a representative, we got a representative. So how is it, right? How is this fair, right? We added more resources, we added a representative, but state A previously, when there were 71, had 8 representatives, and now that there's one more, they have 70. When there's 72 representatives, state A has 7. So state A lost something that they previously had. This is a problem. This turns out to be a problem, and it's called an apportionment paradox. Okay, and I'll kind of summarize all of these in a little bit here, but I just want to highlight that if you're state A, you're like, wait, we lost out on something we had before. So that's what we're going to add here in our little notes to the side. Note, state A went from having 8 reps to having 7 reps. And this was after we added more representatives, they lost something that they had. Kind of doesn't seem fair. Let's take a look at some other examples and see how that goes.